There's a secret every narcissistic sadist like Michael guards fiercely. A secret so devastating to his image of power that, if you discover it, the entire dynamic between you changes instantly. He's not the invincible predator he appears to be. In fact, he's the most fragile and dependent of all the beings you know. His power is an illusion built on a rotten foundation, and that foundation is you. More specifically, it's your pain. What deep psychology has revealed about these emotional vampires will shock you. They possess no inner strength. They have no internal source of worth or self-esteem. They are empty creatures, black holes disguised as human beings, who can only feel something when they drain the vital energy of others. And their preferred fuel? Your anguish, your fear, your confusion, your pain. You've been conditioned to believe he's powerful, that he's in control, that you need to walk on eggshells around him. But the psychological truth that studies of projected shadow reveal is exactly the opposite. He needs you far more than you ever needed him. He is the dependent one. He is the addict. And you are the drug. But what happens when the drug simply disappears? When you stop providing the reaction that feeds the hungry monster within him? The whole house of cards collapses and you finally see the pathetic, desperate creature that has always been behind the mask of power. Have you ever felt that there's something wrong with how certain people drain your energy? That after interacting with them, you feel exhausted, confused, questioning your own reality? That they always manage to make you feel small, inadequate, guilty for things you didn't even do? If you've ever experienced this, you've been targeted by a sadistic emotional vampire. And you probably haven't even realized yet that you've been the fuel source keeping his manipulation machine running. How many times have you left a conversation with that person feeling like you'd been hit by a truck? How many times have you found yourself explaining, justifying, defending obvious things while they watched with that smug little smile? How many times have you given in, apologized, demeaned yourself just to make the tension stop? You weren't imagining things. You were being deliberately provoked, prodded, tested, not to resolve conflicts or improve the relationship, but to generate a specific emotional reaction that would feed their hungry ego. While you tried to be reasonable, they were collecting your emotional energy like a vampire collects blood. While you strived to understand and please, they reveled in your confusion and despair. Your pain was the prize, your anguish was the reward. But here's the twist that changes everything. They can only do this because you allow it. Not consciously, but energetically. You've been conditioned to react, to defend yourself, to try and prove your worth. And every reaction of yours is a drop of power you transfer to them. Do you recognize this dynamic? Do you feel that knot in your stomach when you think about certain people in your life? It's because part of you already knows something is wrong. Your intuition is screaming that you're being used as emotional fuel. And today you're going to understand exactly how this extraction machine works and, more importantly, how to break the cycle and reclaim all the power that has been stolen from you. The dynamic of the narcissistic sadist, Michael, is built upon an emotional black hole. Imagine a person born with an internal void so deep that nothing can fill it. No achievement, no relationship, no external validation can touch this inner abyss. So what does this creature do? He develops a survival strategy based on extracting vital energy from others. The sadistic emotional vampire, Michael, doesn't feel pleasure, satisfaction, or love the way normal people do. He can only feel something when he's causing pain, confusion, or despair in others. It's as if he's a broken television that can only tune into one channel, the channel of others' suffering. He builds his entire identity around this ability to extract emotional reactions. He becomes an expert at finding your weak spots, your insecurities, your fears. Not to help you grow, but to gain access to buttons he can press whenever he needs a dose of power. It's as if he's mapped your entire emotional system and installed remote control devices. A comment here, a look there, a calculated provocation, and boom, you're reacting, defending yourself, justifying yourself. And each reaction of yours is like a shot of heroin straight into his ego's vein. The metaphor that best describes this dynamic is that of the emotional parasite. He needs a host to survive. Without you providing the emotional reactions that feed his sense of power, he literally begins to wither away. The castle of superiority he's built is a house of cards, and you are the table that supports those cards. But here's the secret. Michael will never admit. If you simply get up and leave, the whole house of cards collapses. Without your emotional energy, he reverts to what he always was, a hungry, desperate void masked as a human being. The first aspect of the dirty secret is that Michael constantly monitors your reactions. Every word you speak, every expression on your face, every change in your tone of voice is carefully observed and cataloged. He's always measuring the level of discomfort he's managed to generate in you. When you frown, he feels a pang of satisfaction. When you sigh, he records a small victory. When you get angry and react, he experiences something akin to ecstasy. Your emotional pain is literally the fuel that keeps his self-esteem engine running. He's developed an internal radar that detects emotional vulnerability. He knows exactly when you're most sensitive, when you've had a difficult day, when you're questioning your own worth. And it's in these moments that he attacks with the most precision, because he knows you'll react with greater intensity. The second aspect is that he stores your reactions like trophies. Each time he managed to make you cry, despair, explode in anger, or beg for peace, it's a medal of honor in his mental museum. He revisits these memories when he needs to feel powerful again. He might even purposely reproduce similar situations, just to relive the feeling of having power over your emotions. It's like an addict returning to the place where they got the best high of their life. The third aspect is that he fears nothing more than you stopping your reactions. The greatest threat to Michael's existence isn't that you confront him or fight with him. The greatest threat is that you simply stop caring, stop reacting, stop providing the emotional fuel he needs to feel alive. When you stop feeding the monster, he panics. He'll escalate his provocations, try more extreme tactics, create bigger dramas, anything to make you react again. Because without your reactions, he is nothing. The fourth aspect is that his entire persona of strength and control is an elaborate act. Behind that mask of superiority exists a terrified, empty, and desperately dependent creature. He knows that if you discover how fragile he truly is, the game is over. The final and most devastating revelation of the dirty secret is this: Michael has no real power over you. All the power he appears to have is borrowed. It's your power that you voluntarily hand over through your emotional reactions. He's like a vampire who can only enter your home if you open the door. His power exists only as long as you believe in him. The moment you realize he's just an emotional beggar disguised as a king, the entire dynamic reverses. You stop being the prey and become what he fears most. Someone who doesn't need him, who doesn't react to him, who doesn't feed his emptiness. When you stop providing the emotional reactions that sustain his illusion of power, something extraordinary happens. He starts to despair. His provocations become more obvious, more pathetic. The mask of superiority begins to slip, revealing the hungry creature underneath. You begin to see that all those situations where you felt small and inadequate were elaborate charades. Michael needed you to feel that way so he could feel big. Your pain was the pedestal on which he built his borrowed self-esteem. The liberating truth is that he was never superior to you. He was always inferior, because he needed to steal power from others to exist. You, even in your most vulnerable moments, have always had something he will never have: an internal source of worth, an authentic essence, a real capacity to love and be loved. The moment you grasp this truth is the moment you become immune to his manipulations. You see his provocations for what they truly are: desperate attempts by an addict trying to get one more hit of the drug that you represent. And when you stop providing that drug, when you refuse to play the game of emotional reaction, you witness something fascinating: the total collapse of Michael's facade. The king of the House of Cards is revealed as an emotional beggar, silently pleading for just one more drop of the power you used to hand over on a silver platter. Now that you know the dirty secret, how do you break the cycle of dependence? How do you stop feeding the emotional vampire and reclaim all the power that has been stolen over the years? The first practice is conscious recognition. Every time you feel that familiar sensation of being provoked, stop and ask yourself, is Michael trying to make me react right now? What kind of emotional fuel is he trying to extract from me? Why does he need my reaction to feel powerful? When you place this analytical lens over the situation, you automatically step out of the role of unconscious victim and assume the role of conscious observer. You are no longer in the drama. You are watching the drama being played out. The second practice is the deliberate refusal to feed. When you recognize an attempt at emotional extraction, simply don't react. Don't defend yourself. Don't justify yourself. Don't play the game. Respond with neutrality, or, better yet, don't respond at all. This refusal will deeply disturb the emotional vampire. Michael will try more intense tactics to make you revert to the old pattern. But you need to stand firm because each time you resist feeding the monster, you are reclaiming a piece of your power. The third practice is reclaiming your essence. For years, you may have defined yourself in relation to the dynamic with this vampire. You may have seen yourself as the person who always gives in, who always justifies, who always tries to please. Now it's time to rediscover who you are when you're not being drained. Start cultivating relationships and activities that nourish your soul instead of draining it. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your energy instead of consuming it. Reconnect with your passions, your dreams, your authentic values. The fourth practice is building energetic boundaries. You need to learn to protect your emotional energy as you would any other valuable resource. Not everyone deserves access to your emotions, your fears, your vulnerabilities. Develop the ability to keep your emotional energy for yourself and for the people who truly deserve it. The emotional vampire, Michael, doesn't deserve even a drop of your vital essence. You are no longer the fuel that feeds anyone's ego machine. You are no longer the drug that sustains the emotional addiction of disguised vampires. You are the sovereign guardian of your own energy, the architect of your own emotional reality. The narcissistic sadist Michael, who once seemed so powerful, is now revealed for what he always was. An emotional beggar, a hungry parasite, an empty creature who only exists through what he can steal from others. And you? You are who you always were, an authentic source of power, a sovereign essence that never needed to steal anything from anyone to exist. When you look back and see all those situations where you felt small and inadequate, you now understand that you were being deliberately diminished so that Michael could feel big. Your pain was the sacrifice demanded at the altar of his empty ego. But that old era is over. You've awakened from the trance of manipulation. You've seen through the veil of illusion. You've discovered the secret they most fear you'll uncover. They are utterly dependent on your reaction to exist. Without you feeding the monster, he withers. Without you providing the emotional reactions that sustain his fantasy of power, he reverts to the hungry void he always was. You were the power source that kept the machine running, and now you've pulled the plug. Comment on which aspect of the dirty secret shocked you the most. Was it discovering that they constantly monitor your reactions? Was it realizing that your pain was their trophy? Or was it understanding that all their power was borrowed from you? Like if you felt the liberation of finally understanding that you were always more powerful than those who tried to diminish you. Subscribe to keep discovering the secrets emotional manipulators don't want you to know. Your journey to reclaim your own power is just beginning. The truth always sets you free. And the truth about emotional vampires is that they are hungry parasites disguised as predators. You are no longer the host. You are the sovereign guardian of your own essence. Awaken to your power. Reclaim your energy. Become immune to emotional extraction. The liberation has already begun.